Good afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding area. I am here. I am very excited. We have a great show going on. We have my troublemaking buddy who's sitting in the back over there. She'll be on shortly. And then we have my very good friend, Buddy Stewart. Buddy is the one that encouraged me when I am realizing it. And I look at him kind of like a hero, and he gets very modest about it.
Not my fault, trust me.
And he's the one that actually encouraged me. And how that came around, Buddy, was when I was talking to one of the supermarkets, I think, or something like that. And I said, how do you do this? And he said, well, you go down, you report to what MST, wasn't it?
Way back.
Way back
like
then.
18 years ago anyway.
Yeah. And I said, okay. And I took the test. And then I said, Lou, that I'm not going to do this. You know, all the world. My roommate who sent his path says, oh, yes, you were. And Buddy, just as we clicked it on, this is how the spirit works, Buddy. You were talking. He started talking about me. Well, that's a psychic by the name of Norman Moody going to be coming on and do the show. And my friend said, there you go. You're going to do it. So, folks, this is my friend, Buddy Stewart. And I also have, if you'll introduce yourself.
Lessard.
Okay. So, Buddy, and first of all, my very good friend and co-host who I miss dearly, Lori, Otto.
Positive wishes to you.
Yeah. Please hurry back. He's not as pretty as you are.
That's what I'm saying.
So, Buddy, what have you been doing?
Well, I worked in manufacturing for a long time as well, and plus played in bands. And kind of
a table.
Okay, right, because of the microphone. I stopped doing that for the most part. Just get old. Just don't like driving at 1:30 in the morning, trying to avoid the drunks anymore. So the job gets shipped to China like a lot of manufacturing jobs do. So I decided to get into movies and television. And a really good friend of mine was in the movies already as an extra, and he'd been doing it for 15 years and had pretty good luck, and it's not really all that difficult. So I put together a decent entertainment resume, and I've been in 4 projects now, a couple of major motion pictures, and a couple of independent films. Matter of fact, my first big movie was Daddy's Home 2, and it's getting released November 10th. Next month, and that's going to be a Christmas movie. That's going to be pretty big.
Awesome. Adam Sandler?
No, Mel Gibson, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, and John Lithgow.
Uh-huh.
So that's a pretty big deal.
You want to tell me again what the date is?
November 10th, it gets released nationwide, and actually worldwide, within the week pretty around cool.
So I got a
November
celebrity,
10th.
Huh? Wow. Yeah.
And I also, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, I got another call today. There's a series being filmed right now in Massachusetts called Castle Rock. Stephen King series like Salem's Lot, and it's being shot on for Hulu specifically. And I worked on that set a couple of weeks ago, and I may be working on it next week. They're getting to the end. They're shooting a 6-episode pilot to see if there's going to be interest in it. And it's Stephen King, and J.J. Abrams is the director, which, if you don't know that name, he also directed the last Star Wars. So if it gets picked up, they'll be signing for 5 seasons. So there'll be a lot of work between Orange, Massachusetts, where they film a lot of the outside stuff, and then they have a studio at Fort Devens. And I don't know if people know this, but Fort Devens now has a big movie studio there, much like Hollywood, and it rivals any big name set. That some of the people that I've met on the set who have worked there said that it's really professional, really well done. So, and it's brand new.
So you have met a lot of stars.
No, I mean I've stood in the room with them. I mean Mel Gibson and Will Ferrell, but you really don't talk to them as extras, especially if you're non-union, even union for that matter. If you're an extra, you're there to do the work. You're not there to go Mel. You know, you can't do that. If they talk to you, then by all means you can have a conversation with them, but you can't be starstruck,
right?
Because they're there to do the work. They get in. It's funny, the more I spend on sets, you really see how they get in the character and they get to a certain place and they can't come out of that place. I mean, you hear stories about Jim Carrey or Val Kilmer when he filmed the Doors movie. He went to rehab after, and he wasn't a drinker. But he just gets so swallowed up by the character and the role.
Well, then Tony Perkins was famous for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
So much into the role. I'm sure you must get into that character, don't you think? When you think, you know?
Got to, yeah.
You know, hell, I'm in many roles, so I never know which role I'm going to play. But so you've had a pretty adventurous.
Yeah, I mean, this is last year's when I get into it in the springtime, and like I said, I've been on 4 projects, and the whole key to it is like anything else. You do a lot of networking, you meet people. The thing I kind of got a kick out of is when I was down in Orange a couple of weeks ago filming for Castle Rock. I walked on a set, and again, it's the same casting company, but there's a lot of people, and you walk in and you hear, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" And you're like, "I know people here now." You're one of the guys. You're not kind of tiptoeing in, trying to, you don't want to make a splash or anything, but it's good to know people. I mean, that's life, is knowing people. And
it was pretty cool. I went down to Hudson. I did a show for Kindred Spirits, and they're supposed to play it this month. And they do. I'm at the point, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't.
Right.
I'm not going to get they're going to play it or whatever. Because my feelings are, whatever they want to do, the Spirit leads me to do what I'm supposed to do, and that's the way I do it. Same with you. Aren't we all actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, we like with you got a pretty girl on your arm, and you have to be quiet today. You can't be flirtatious or whatever. You got to be prim and proper. Is that really you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see that, and like you now, you fit right. I got to tell you that there's a big movie. They're going to want a big casting, and I actually will tell you that you're going to be one of the first to be in that extra part. And you're going to be very close to a couple of big stars, so don't be surprised.
Okay. Well, and that's already happened. But to me, like I said, I'm not trying to aim too high. I'm trying to be pragmatic. I'm not there to get rich. And
you used a big word.
And certainly not to be famous, but just to work and gain experience. And if that happens, that's fine, which is kind of the right attitude. You don't want to go in with lofty expectations, because then you're set up to fail unless you get really to a high point.
Are they, even though they can't talk to you, do they let you know that they're the stars?
I didn't get, you hear stories of them like that, but I have to tell you the funny story. The first day I was on the set, actually second day I was on the set, they have an area for the union actors, non-union. So I'm sitting in the non-union area having lunch, and I had made a bunch of friends, but they were still in line, so I'm sitting at the table and I'm going, geez, would it kill a couple of the A-listers to come over here? I mean, they got to know that it's a big deal for a lot of the extras to see stars. But, that's the way it is, and it's not a big deal. So I'm sitting there having my lunch, and one of my buddies shows up, and I said, I saw Mark Wahlberg yesterday and Will Ferrell. I says, I haven't seen Mel Gibson. And he goes, he's right behind you. and he was having lunch with the extras. And he was talking to a couple of children, and he looked really like he was giving these kids... he was just talking to them like they were his kids, and seemed very affable. I'm like, wow, it's kind of cool.
A big word.
Affable? Yeah. Well, no, but communicating well. But he was talking to them, and they were responding. Yeah. And it's funny because, again, these kids were probably 8 and 9, so his best days were long before these kids were even born. Lethal Weapon, a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, wow, these kids. And they were responding to him, and they were just having a conversation.
And he got blackballed for something stupid.
Well, it's unfortunate that if someone like you or I or you make a mistake, it happens. When you're a celebrity making $80 million a year and you make a mistake, everybody knows about it because we build up our celebrities just to rip them down. So,
hey, there you go.
Our vocab word for the day, children, is affable.
Right.
Affable means pleasant.
Lori and I'll say a big word. And Lori will say, hey, and I'll say, Lori, I said a big word, or something like that.
And we'd like to thank Paul Cormier for his input.
Yes. He's our English teacher for the day.
Exactly.
And by the way, folks, just to let you know, Paul Cormier is the one who does the historic shows on our endings, so that when it's over and we don't have anyone whatever, so that people can leave early if they need to. And I believe that, like you were surprised to see who made him in person. So he's kind of a celebrity.
He is actually a celebrity because a couple of years ago I was on YouTube one Saturday afternoon. It was in the middle of the winter, and I found this really, really good, thoughtfully put together picture history of Manchester, and a lot of it was 1800s, and it tells you a picture where it was, where it is, what's there now, and you can kind of see remnants of the past, and it's really done well. And I see the name Paul Cormier, and I'm like, how is it that I don't know this guy? Because I've been around town a long time, and I just really well done. Then I found another video. And for those of you everybody's near a computer, when you get a chance, check out Paul Cormier and just write in historical Manchester, and it should bring it in. They're really, really good.
Or watch it in the right shows, and you'll see them too.
Well, yeah,
you know what? See that? If you want to meet somebody that's famous or special, come to Norm, Laurie, and Fred. See, and you'll meet them all. You never. Buddy Stewart, who works as an extra, my friend Lou. Tell us something about yourself. We'll get through this over
Absolutely.
for a minute.
Absolutely.
Well, first I want to say that I grew up in the Orange area. So
really?
So
you're the one.
I'm one of the ones. One of the few of the proud.
Have you been there lately?
I was actually out there last weekend, but some of my friends on Facebook that I went to school with, it's a big deal.
Well, it's funny because this is what I do for work now, and I got a casting call about a month ago, and I said, Orange, Mass. What? And it's in the middle of nowhere near Athol, which is where's that? And I drove out there, and there's 2 streetlights in the town. and I'm not kidding. And every single intersection had a policeman at it because there was so much traffic that day because of the casting call. And I've made some friends at the casting company, and I asked them, 2,100 people showed up that day. And that's probably more than
double the population of the town, probably. Yeah.
I grew up in a small town like that when they had more animals than they did people. And there are days when I miss that small town, but I don't want to go back to it again.
No.
So so what have you been doing, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a retired engineer that right now.
Pull up to the. There you go.
That
no, you were fine. He's good.
Oh.
And I've been doing some painting. I've been doing this whole forgiveness thing, where I have a radio show called The Power of Forgiveness, and I do talks around the area. I live in the Newburyport area, so I try to do some talks about forgiveness. This whole sharing my forgiveness journey, because people seem to really resonate with it.
He is a big word.
It resonate.
Yeah,
was that the one you were talking about?
Yeah, that's another word. Yeah. Well, this is a thing between Lori and I, and she's not here, so
that's okay.
And definitely doesn't look like Lori, but that's okay.
No.
But so, do you have any speaking engagements or any events coming up?
Next week, I got asked to host the first, I think, YouTube live video or TV show or whatever they call it on the Dream Vision 7 radio network, which is where I have my radio show. So they're starting to get into video now, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing the first one, the pilot.
Awesome.
So
pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel very honored.
From where you've been to where you are today, where you were, do you think you would ever be where you are today?
Oh, absolutely not.
I think, because a lot of times I wake up and say, is this real? It's a bubble going to pop? Because I was a pretty helter-skelter back in my day,
We all were.
We all were, and to see, I knew I had to move out of the area where I was living in order to grow. And by the way, folks, I have to tell you this, I'm excited that my son went to the doctors and they found out he was cancer-free.
That's awesome.
So
Fantastic.
it was scary,
Cancer is scary.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you that, he was scared, I was scared, but, nobody knows what it's like unless you're the person. I had a very close roommate that was the one that encouraged me to go on. He died of cancer. Just about everywhere I know of people that are died, they died of cancer. Is an insidious. I'm going to use a big word. I'm going to surprise myself. Insidious disease. Okay, and I believe that there is more cures out there than you'll ever know. But the pharmaceutical companies want to make money. Mm-hmm. And that's so sad. When I had to go, buddy, this is the hardest part, Lou. I had to go and tell this mother and father they have a 4-year-old son, and he had cancer on the brain, so far gone, because he didn't have the proper insurance.
No.
He only had about 3 months to live, and he just crossed 2 days ago. How sad. Because you don't have insurance, you're not going to get taken care of?
And it's weird. You hear lots of stories. Several friends of mine, adults, had cancer, severe cancer. But because they had no insurance, the state picked it up recently. And one of my friends in particular, she was very, very close to death. And they did stem cell research, which 10 years ago wasn't allowed.
Right.
Just ask yourself that question. But we don't talk politics on this show, right?
Right. Oh, you can talk about something like that.
Oh, well, then.
I mean, that's not political. That's healing.
But, the state ended up picking it up, and we're talking over $1 million worth of doctor bills.
Now, that we can talk about. I see if we can get Obamacare going against Trump care, going against Joe Schmo in the battle for the race. And all that,
we're divided as a country right now about that. So you can't, you're going to alienate half the audience just by picking a side.
Because I have fun doing it on Facebook. And I get a lot of people going on that.
As do I. I like to throw that around too.
But until, and we've talked about this on my last show, until people start harmonizing and showing true love to each other, and I think this is what it's all about. And I don't mean sexual love unless you're cute, but that's okay. But true love to each other, and really mean that you care about each other and get rid of the anger and get rid of the hatred.
We had that for about a month after 9/11.
Yeah. Why can't we get it back?
Exactly. And I mean, it's so horrible that something like that has to happen to bring us together. But for like a month, I mean, I remember walking into a restaurant to see a friend of mine play down in Salem, Mass. And it was called the Lyceum Bar and Grill. So I'm thinking bar and grill. So my wife and I went in, we had leather jackets on and,
the whole thing.
And it was a 5-star restaurant. And and I walk in and I immediately felt very awkward, and I called the maitre d' over and I said, I feel really out of place. I said, when you hear bar and grill, it insinuates a certain casualness.
Right.
And I said, I really don't want to offend. And he goes, puts his arm around me. He goes, we're all American in here, man. Come on in. Wow. Get treated us like gold. Then I saw the menu, $18 for chicken. And this is 2001. I mean, and the chicken, the more you pay, the less you get. So,
Well, I only go to high-class restaurants.
Well,
because I don't pay for them.
Of course.
Do
the old, can I have the bill? I need to go to the bathroom.
Right, I do that all the time.
And moonwalk
out. But, seriously, in the last 17 years, and I really get this TV show, and I have grown. I met a lot of very nice people. I've done I'm going to do a lot of private psychic parties, and I've been to some houses where I choose not to go back into again. When you're a vegetarian, they got animal heads hanging all around the wall. They really think it's very uncomfortable trying to do something like that. Or you go into a house and there's garbage filled from here to here, and all of a sudden they get a little queasy.
Yeah.
But I've been to some houses where you're almost afraid to step on the floor because you don't want to. But you know what? Every one of them are great people, from rich people down to poor. It's all in the attitude and how you are and how they are and how and that's what it's all about: loving each other.
Absolutely.
If you're on Social Security disability, you're on state welfare, I don't know what's wrong with you. And and I'm not, because you may be looking fine, you may have this, but we don't know what's going on the inside.
Right.
We don't know if whatever's going on. So the
we
key
have a lot
that you
more
have,
common than we don't,
Right. So the key point that you're teaching people with love and forgiveness, it's really what we need to do with each other.
I really believe that, yeah. Personally, like if we learn, speaking personally, the more I learned how to love myself, the more I could give and receive love from others. But even globally, like some of the things that you were mentioning, like politics and, the economy and all that stuff, as more and more kind of stuff comes out that we become aware of, we become aware of injustices or what we perceive to be. There's, that we got to heal that, as a society, as a world. We really got to learn how to love each other. And how can you love yourself or another person if you can't forgive them?
Right. That's like when this country is so divided. First of all, and I'm not going to go into politics. The Spirit has who he wants in our country as a leader. Whether we choose him, whether we don't choose him, the Spirit has everything under control. And if you remember right, you know who Nostradamus is, right? You know
Nostradamus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, and if you read Nostradamus, and if you read Revelations, and there again, I'm not going into, but you'll see they coincide parallel to each other, that man is going to destroy, man is going to destroy the world. And you know what? The sad part is, we are.
Oh, yeah, and we are right now.
Right. You think this is mild? Believe me, this is mild what we got going on now. Since you agree with me, you mean the hurricanes.
We do have choices, you know.
We can change.
We have free will.
Everybody has free will. You know, like you chose that you want to be an extra in a movie show or on TV. You chose to do what you're doing. You know, what kind of art do you do?
None.
You said you were a painter.
Oh, I paint walls and.
Oh, you're an artist. Oh, you do the manual labor. So isn't that like a psychic work? Because aren't you beautifying the wall that you're painting on the outside? Yeah. If you look at it that way, you're picking a nice.
Oh, I always loved the transformation that you have. You know, the process sometimes is painful getting there, but.
Yeah. Well. The person I worked for is a house painter. He and I had an agreement. I don't paint houses anymore. He won't hire me back.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what it came to, you know. So you're thinking about coming back on the air again?
Yeah, in about a month. I'm doing some preparation next week, but it'll probably go live about a month. Not live. I'm not doing a live show, but it'll be on the air about a month.
Got a name for it already?
Conspiracies and other stuff. It'll be a conspiracy-based show, but the panel that I've put together, and there's 3 different guys that I'm going to be having as guests. It'll be a 2-person show, so each week is going to be a different one of these 3 guys and they're well versed in the conspiracy area. Plus, they bring their own talents to the show. One particular, a good friend of mine from Goffstown, a couple of years ago, he had some health problems, and the doctor said, "Well, we're going to have to medicate you, do this and that," and he didn't accept it. So he did a lot of research. The internet's great. It's modern-day encyclopedia times a million, and you can really find out a lot of stuff. And he found out that he could approach his problem holistically by supplements and what he ate, because basically your body is it's an engine, and depending on the fuel you use is the results you get. And he's solved his problems in 6 months. And he's in great health, great shape, great guy, great father, great husband, and I'm lucky to have him. He's a good friend, and he's going to be doing some shows. And so, and he's very well versed in conspiracy, but he's also well versed in that. And I thought that would make a great show. And the thing is, not everybody likes conspiracies, but the spin I kind of want to put on it. There's a lot of information on the internet, like I said, on YouTube, and you can really find things that you never knew. If you watch the news in general, you're not going to get the news. And you're nodding your head, so I appreciate that. But nowadays, even Channel 9, I stopped watching about 3 or 4 months ago. Can I say that? Because you
can. But I mean, I don't watch Channel 9 news either.
And it's funny because someone told me, "What about the weather?" I have an app for that. And there's no commercials, and it's right almost as much because the weathermen never get anything right. But
my friend Al Caprillion is going to be calling in.
Al Caprillion, is it true he works over at the mall?
Yes, it is.
Over at Macy's?
I got to tell you, he is so happy over there.
Awesome.
He's one of my best friends.
And you know what? Isn't that what it's all about, is being happy?
He'll be calling until you're around 5:15, I think.
I get a funny Al Caprillion story, but I won't be here when he's on. But years ago, Linloo Drive, it's an apartment complex in Derry, and it was very close to WDER, where he got his fame. And he lived on Linloo Drive, right in the next building over from my friend's house. And we had been up all night partying because we all worked at night, the late night shift. So someone said, "Al Caprillion lives next door, and he brings out his garbage every day." I said, "Come on!" It was in the middle of the winter. Well, we made a bunch of snowballs, and we harvested a bunch, and we put them on the deck. So we go running out on the deck, and someone yells, "Good evening!" And then he starts waving, and then we start nailing him with snowballs, and good times. I mean, we were kids. I mean, 22, 23, and he was pretty young, too, back then.
Yeah. Al and I are very good friends. We go out there to lunch every so often. As long as I got the card to go with, But Al and I, we go out maybe once a month out to
awesome.
lunch or whatever. And I got to tell you, he'll be calling, but he is much happier being a salesperson. They shafted him the last time he was here.
Yeah, I mean, he was a character, but people knew who he was.
Oh, he's very well.
And he was on a very small station, so to get to the level he had, I mean, he brought a lot to it.
I'll say to him, "Hey Al, how come you're signing all the autographs and I'm sitting here not doing that?" You know, he's very shy.
Yeah.
If you see him in person,
really? I heard of him out in Irving Orange. Growing
Really?
up, I knew who he was.
Yeah,
But WDER when it first went live, and that was the early '80s.
Good evening. Yeah, well, but if you see him when people go up too high out, his face will turn red or whatever. You know, I mean, he basks in the glory of it, but he still does. I think he does the Nashville and he does a couple of radio shows for the weather. But when the last time he was on, they were treating him like. They didn't come right out and say that he was too old to be on the weather station.
How was that possible?
You know, but because he wanted to hire somebody from Pennsylvania to be on, and somehow the guy from Pennsylvania didn't last very long. You know, and but he's much happier. He really is. And by the way, anybody, if you're at the Macy's at the mall, drop by, say hi, fill out a card. He gets extra points. So
yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's really cool, and I enjoy being on with him. And we enjoy going out to. Oh, I have to pay Applebee's. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I literally destroyed you on Facebook.
I couldn't be happier.
Okay, I literally destroyed him. Now, I had a sandwich that was so disgusting I couldn't eat it. And when I asked for a club sandwich, everything's all into one, and so the way with. But then, so today, when my very friend Elaine from she has a Dateline introduction to Dateline, whatever, and we went out for lunch today. I got to say, they made amends. I had a fillet of fish and fries. Of course, I have to have all my food on a separate place when I get up, even at home. You know, yeah, like Monk. And I got to say, the service, well, come see, come saw. To me, a good waitress or waiter should always be smiling. Act like they want to wait on you. Don't act like, oh, it's a job to wait on you. But the manager came over. In fact, I even got a gift card because they messed up on the last one I had. And the manager came over to me because he said, "Can you write something positive for change about it?" And I said, "I will this time."
Well, that's why the tip is the great equalizer. If you get bad service, then it reflects in the tip.
Well, she came up and I said, "Smiling, doesn't her?" I've been smiling all day. I go, "Whoa, you're not good on my review on you, you know." And but I got to say that today it was really good. Everything
Excellent.
was good, except for the waitress service, but can't have everything, you know.
No.
But the best place I like, do you like omelets when you go out to breakfast? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Have you ever been to the Purple Finch?
No.
Oh, I went there for the first time or second time, and I got to tell you, I ordered a Greek omelet with the spinach, the bacon, the tomatoes, and feta cheese. I have never had anything, and they had it evenly distributed, so all the flavors. I got to tell you, it was really awesome. And then again, it was even better because I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, it's always good.
It is always good. Like when I went out to lunch and didn't pay for it. When all these girls, they take me out to lunch and I tell them, I can't do anything for you. I'm a But, you know, and there again, knowing that where we are today, like you've grown in popularity with what you do, right? And you have too, you know, you're growing.
No death threats lately, so that's good.
Well, I get that every once in a while. But knowing that and then your success and mine, it didn't come overnight.
No.
And folks, if you think I'm a snob, you're right, girlfriend. I am. But anyways, we worked very hard to be where we're at. Now,
yes.
Lori would kick me if I said that. You know that, right? You know. But so Kate will come and take her place. By the way, she'll kick me instead. She's pretty mean.
I don't know.
She's pretty bossy and pretty mean. You know. So, but. Oh, I gotta say, we did that. Did you read on Facebook where I was going to do that blessing? Okay, it was a huge success. It really was. We did a blessing on the hands across the Merrimack. You know,
I saw pictures from it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the people were running away from it. If you don't understand, that's the first thing they do. And I was talking to this one gentleman who had been drinking quite a while. I said, "Sir, allow me to give you a blessing, and may you have a great day." You would have thought the devil was chasing him down the street. Is there a devil? I don't believe in that, but yeah, I mean, I never saw a guy run so fast, But the energy there, and my friend Reverend Amy Majors was there. Have you met Amy?
No.
No. You met her, right, Kate?
Yes, I have.
But the energy with her and myself and Jeannie Echo Scott, and another friend of mine from Apollo from Kenya, you could feel the energy. It didn't want to be released, but you could feel the energy there just really leaving, because you could feel all the bodies that were shot down, dead, or whatever from there, and to see it move the way it did was so energetic. You have to come to one of ours. Next time I'll let you know.
Yeah, thanks.
You're always invited to court. And, buddy, so you don't have an exact date when you start your show?
It'll be approximately 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
But back to the conspiracy thing. So basically,
Yeah.
I'd like to present a lot of the information that I have found about things. When you start looking into things, it's incredible. But my point is, I don't want the audience to feel like, well, they have to agree with me because I found this and you have to believe this. I do the research and I find it fascinating. If it encourages you to do your own research and then come up with your own decision. I mean, you don't have to agree with the people on the show, but they're interesting stories that, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that part of the story because, again, the news, you can't rely on them to report it. So, but on YouTube, I mean, a lot of people have made some very good documentaries about subjects, and I had no idea. Sandy Hook, 9/11, Building 7. But there's a lot of other conspiracies out there too. Of course, the latest one is the Las Vegas one, and I mean, it was a tragedy, but I mean, it's no more tragic than life in Chicago. I mean, there's just as many people killed monthly or every other month that was hurt in Vegas, and you barely hear a whisper about that on network television. CNN will never mention it.
No.
But I don't know if you. And again, I do the research. I find it interesting. Do your own research and then make your own decision. One of the things that I found fascinating recently is the sheriff of Las Vegas had done a press conference the day after it happened, or the day of. And he was very measured, very sheriffly. I mean, what you'd expect is a spokesman for the city explaining the situation. And then 4 days later, 4 or 5 days later, he does another press conference, and he looks like his family is at gunpoint, and he's got to follow a certain script, or things are going to go bad. And there's an FBI flanked guy behind him at about a 45-degree angle, standing there like this, just staring at him, and it just doesn't look right. It's like something. We don't know all the information, and it's like anything else. We're never going to know all the information, but something's askew. And look at all the evidence and do your own research and then come up with your own decision. But don't go by what you're going to hear on CNN because you're not going to hear it.
That's what I like when I read on Facebook. And my son said, "You've been reading Facebook again, haven't you?" I go, "Yeah." He said, "Why are you believing all that stuff?" I said, "But I can tell you what they're saying doesn't mean I believe it."
And there's a lot of bad information on Facebook too. I see that. I
It's
see it every
terrible.
day. And then you're like, well, the one that bothers me, this drives me nuts. I was out. This happened actually about 8-9 months ago. I was waiting for a friend. And I was out in the car and happened to pull up. It was George Herbert Walker Bush just passed away, and he's been in failing health for a while. And he's an older man. And
No, he did pass?
no,
Oh.
but it was announced on Facebook.
That's right.
And I said to someone, I go, "Wow, George." And it was believable, so no one's going to question it. A couple of days later, I'm like, "Wait a minute! I just saw that." And then I saw one a couple of days ago about Sally Field dying, and I'm like,
Yeah, I was reading that too.
what a shame. She's not dead. And I'm like, why would you do that?
And
Why
Bill
would
Crosby.
Who?
They put Bill Crosby was dead.
Cosby, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Cosby.
No, people like that never die.
I like that. I don't believe he's I'm guilty of all that, but that's my own opinion.
Yeah, I haven't really researched it because just the whole subject is nauseating. Just people in Hollywood.
But don't you find, and I'm going along with you too, and see that people want to read, they devour all the scandals about the. I mean, look how popular the Inquirer News or the.
And the Inquirer actually is probably more correct news only because they've been sued so many times, so they have to have their facts straight. I just saw a video. There's a group called Project Veritas. And they've been exposing a lot of reporters from CNN behind the scenes going, there's nothing here. We do it just because of ratings and that's it. And admitting on camera. And recently there was one, and I just watched it right before I came down, where a reporter went up to the New York Times editor or something. And he was going out for a coffee, and the guy's asking him questions about stuff that they won't report. That's news, and of course he didn't say a word. He just went to the coffee place, got his coffee. You could tell he was annoyed.
I like the show on Channel 4 after 11 where they go to the people who have been doing all these scandal-type projects, running out, and they try to interview them. The guys are running away from them. I like stuff like that, I do. I don't, I don't listen to, absolutely refuse to listen to the news. Because, like you said, buddy, there's no...
And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of things going on in the world, good and bad.
Yeah.
But unless it fits a certain narrative, you're not going to hear about it. And some major things got released yesterday. And I won't talk to specifics because it's politics.
Yeah.
But, you kind of have a certain format. But some major stuff was announced last night. And I had already done the research and I knew about it anyway. Not a word on 90% of the TV stations. They're not reporting it. No matter how bad it gets. It's just, these are strange times we're living in. This is not my grandfather's world.
No.
My grandfather came over from Liverpool, England in 1908 as a 12-year-old kid with a trunk and a dream, and he drove when there were no roads and no licenses, and we were pure then. People had a dream and they were going.
And you worked hard, like your family. And the sad part is, I think you'll agree with that. We take too much for granted. Nobody wants to earn. I'm not saying all people don't.
No, but a lot of the kids though, they don't want to work.
They don't want to work.
No,
and there's a lot of jobs open out there now. I thought about putting on my miniskirt and my high heels and my blonde wig.
I can see that.
Yeah, think I could get a job?
No, probably not. No,
probably not.
No, not then. No.
Oh well.
Wait a minute. There you go.
Oh, I get a job.
I need that back for parking.
There you go. But I can remember the first job I ever had. I worked $10 a week. I worked 5.5 days a week. I think it was a lot of hours. I worked on a farm. And you know what? I bought more with that $10 a week than most people would, what I'm saying. And I learned how to milk a cow. The first time I ever did it, I'll never forget, they told me you have to pull the cow's tail 3 times. I mean, come on, so I'm pulling the cow's tail, and all of a sudden the cows start to pee. And then I said, okay, do they really get chocolate milk, all that stuff? And they would, and I'm believing them until I started milking, but you know what? And I learned, I had the best time on that farm, even shoveling the
Now, where was this?
This was in Guilford, New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're from New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm originally. I grew up in New London, New Hampshire.
Kingsridge used to be.
Oh yeah, my foster father was part of that. I used to get in all kinds of trouble with there, But I grew up on, and you know what? And I thought, $10, that's a lot of money back then, And then I worked at a nursery, $55 a week. And I went to my class graduation, hung home, and a guy come and took the flower I had in my hand, took the flower and gave me my check, so me not to come back anymore. With your kids, but kids, it's okay to work.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. My granddaughter has been working since she was 16 because she has a very expensive taste and she wants things. And she knows that she has to work for them. And we help her. But I'm not saying all kids, but when you start wanting things, it's time to take responsibility and start working for them.
Well, the thing is, you have to, at some point, decide what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
And you got to because to me, when I was younger, you have lots of wants, and all of a sudden, if I want less, I have more money to spend on things that I really need, or God forbid, some of it ends up in the bank. The money don't go bad, at least not yet.
Yeah. And one thing, she is really very good at saving her money.
That's awesome.
Which is really good because she wants to buy herself a car now, and she and her boyfriend are madly,
Well, no, but right now the education system's failing us anyway.
It really is.
These kids are coming out of college with a house payment and no way to pay for it because the job that they had in mind when they started this education 4 years later is obsolete. The treadmill of obsolescence right now with a lot of jobs. Obsolescence, that's another vocab word.
Yeah. I want to put that down, what that means.
But no, I mean, a neighbor of mine's son went to school for a thing, and there were no jobs when he got out, and now he's doing something else. And again, you'd expect when you get out of school in 4 years, you're making good money, and in the meantime, those loans are just piling up, and we're failing our kids.
The sad part here, and I don't know about your area, but the sad part here in Manchester, we should have the highest credit ratings, and we don't. And like you just said, we are failing the educational system. I'm not blaming the teachers.
Oh, no, it's not the teachers.
I'm blaming the Board of Education and stuff.
My stepdaughter's a teacher, not in Manchester, but she's a teacher, and she spends hundreds of dollars out of our own pocket in August for supplies for the classroom.
And it shouldn't be that way.
I mean,
how was your education when your children go? Your son go to school, right?
Yep.
And they go to a public school?
Yep.
How was the education there?
It's not bad, but it's
Could be
the
better,
system,
right?
So they're being put through the same kind of
We're going to make this
system
part
that we all are.
educational, I think, political if we want, because I think that's education is important.
education is very important, but what I really think, and again, the 1 through 12 grades, I think, had its moment in time, like a lot of things, and it's failed to evolve like the times have. For instance, if we have the kids in school for 12 years, 1 through, grade school is grade school. When 1 through 7 or 1 through 8 is the necessities. Once you get to high school, there should be somewhat, maybe after your freshman year, there should be some testing involved to find out what your comprehension level is at this or at that, and kind of do some testing to evaluate where your strengths are. And then spend the last 2 years in high school, you do school in the morning, and then have an apprenticeship at a company. So say if you're really good at math and engineering type of stuff, maybe you could take a couple of CAD courses at the school, not English. You don't need, at that point you can speak well enough. I mean, in some cases, you would, in some vocations, you would need better English, or a writer or something like that. But some of the stuff like science in school, it's important, but if this is not the field you're going to go into, then it's wasted time. And even in colleges where you have to have so many electives and American law. Well, I'm not going to be a lawyer. I don't need to know about American law. Make it very selective as to what you're going to do when you get out. The thing is, if we start kids at 10th and 11th grade as an apprenticeship, getting to school, going to classes in the morning, doing an apprenticeship that they're not getting paid for, but we have a partnership between employers and the kids where in the meantime they're helping them along and they're getting their start. They could be a full-blown mechanic by the time they get out of high school, and they're making $25, $30.
If you have any questions you would like to ask Buddy Stewart or Lou Lessard, hey, I got your name right.
Nice.
Yeah, usually I have to say, what's her name again?
It happens.
And give us a call at 640-3091. If you want a reading done, give me a call. We'll see what we can do. But don't be afraid to give us a call in. One of the things that I do think that is the need of my heart is education. When I was growing up, we were considered feeble-minded, because it took me longer to go to class. They didn't have the special ed. They didn't have all of that stuff, But you know what? I made it. It took me 5 years instead of 3 to go to school to become a nurse. But
that's okay.
Yeah, because I did it.
Because everybody learns at a different pace.
See, that's what I don't like. Not everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a hard time with people that putting people into special ed or they're having people in this class because you're effing labeling them.
Absolutely. And in school, I got to be honest with you, I wasn't real good at school. I got through in 12 years, but I did not excel at school at all. What I excelled at is when I got onto the work world, and I started at an entry-level job. It doesn't get more entry-level than what I was doing. Yeah. And I was watching, and I see, what is that guy doing? Oh, he's a planner, and he's got an office. I want to have an office. I don't want to be scraping plates all day. So I asked him a few questions, found out what he did, and then moved up. And then the last job I had at a manufacturing facility was master planner scheduler, and I had my hand in a lot of what was going on in the business. And it's just a matter of some people learn very differently. And to me, it's always been about hands-on. Not by books. I just
You're a
can't
mechanical
learn that way.
engineer, right? You're
Industrial.
retired, okay. And did you find the same way that you learned? And I have a feeling you had to learn everything the hard way.
Yeah, the hard way, and I learned more by doing it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and seeing
You
it, yeah.
You know, this
And
is
you
why.
make those mistakes too.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were more interested in the girls, I could tell. But anyway, so that's not here.
Don't make them
judge
bad
me.
people.
No, well, I was interested in the boys, but couldn't admit it back then, you know. But I'm a firm believer that no such thing as severe, there is disabilities. Don't misunderstand it. But I don't believe in the severe learning disabilities. Like you just said, we all learn at our own pace. It's a sad world. And then the saddest part to me is when they want to put the kids on some kind of a psychotropic drug.
Worst thing you can do.
Yeah. That's why you have so many kids that are heroin addicts. So many very close friend of mine, hi Dave, who has passed away. His mother, they convinced him to put him on Ritalin, and Ritalin has speed. And so what happened when he got out of it? He got on what is it called, crystal meth? Yeah, you know what I mean. And he went to California. He got the disease or whatever, and he and I became good buddies. And I always remember that. He said, "This is all started when I was a child, when the Ritalin, okay." And you're looking at mother and father's medicine cabinets. What do they find in there? So, Ritalin, or they find all these psychotropic drugs and all that.
And
So
they have a million diagnoses.
Yeah.
ADHD.
nobody knows.
Now, you know who Dean Kamen is, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
As do
yeah,
you.
he's a hero.
And, I've watched all his documentaries, and he's a great speaker. But he was on 60 Minutes a couple of years ago, and I was really blown away by the piece because he goes, I'd be in school, and the teacher would be teaching us something, and all of a sudden his mind would start to wander about this particular subject. And all of a sudden, like when he would come out of his thought, they were 2 steps ahead, and he just missed everything. And that's a classic example of people who learn at their own pace.
Yeah.
It just, but again, it goes back to the schools,
But
they're not equipped for it.
One of my friends his father owns like 4 factories. Could not read or write. He knew how to sign his name, but he knew his dollar sign, so his daughter ran the business for him, and he became a multi-billionaire. And, because what he did was, because it was what the Spirit wanted to do, he did this work with coloring and all this other stuff. So, and I'm not telling you not to get an education, folks. I don't think you are.
Absolutely. No, not at all.
I don't think none of us are. What we're trying to say, folks, is try, do the best you can and learn at the pace that you are comfortable with.
Well, and the thing is, find a direction that suits you,
yeah.
that suits your strengths. And if you find something you really enjoy, you're not really working a day in your life if you enjoy what you're doing.
Right.
Regardless of what it is.
Yeah. And I also feel very badly, too, is that a lot of parents, they send their kids to school, or now they have programs to make sure the kids eat at in elementary school. They have breakfasts, they have lunch, and they have dinners for them. And then once they get through school, they go to the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA. And where do the parents fit into this?
Well, unfortunately, they're working.
Or if they're not working.
Well, that too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And it's the children that are left behind because they don't have the parental guidance that they should have. And I'm not saying all parents are bad. Don't ever misunderstand that. But unfortunately, the government has made it so easy for the working, not just the working, but the parents who, let's say, get housing or projects or whatever. Oh, okay, they can go to the YMCA. They can go to the Boys Club. They know that the children are getting fed at school. I believe they get a breakfast at school, and some of them get qualified for lunch. And then they have programs like the Kids Cafe through the Salvation Army. They can get dinner at night. But my thing is, and believe me, I know there's a lot of parents out trying to be good parents. There's a lot of them out there that are trying to take care. But then the kids are always feeling left out. So my wonder is, the guys are saying, hey, come on with your friend. Let's join the gang. Let's do it, our buddy. Let's do, Are our children escaping from reality by doing drugs today?
And I'd say something that seems small, but like the smartphones.
Yeah.
You see,
my God!
I see a group of kids walking down the street the other day, and all 4 of them got the smartphones like right here. And I'm like, me and my friends used to play basketball after school, or go sledding or build ramps and kill
Oh, yeah, that's
ourselves.
I
what
see
you
it with
did.
smartphones. I see it with adults too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even driving. They can't even drive without staring.
And
at
the
their
funny
phone.
thing about that is, it's illegal in this state. And then it's funny because I think about things a lot because I have a lot of time in my hands. And one of the things I thought of, what a great job, is to deputize a half a dozen people and put them in unmarked cop cars, but they have to be retrofitted for computers and stuff, and go around, because you can drive anywhere in the city and pull up to any intersection with his lights, and if people are sitting at a light and it's red, they're looking down. Bang! It's a $75 fine for the ticket. You give me 5% of my take, and I'll be pulling in $1,000 a week. Because everybody does it. The only time you get nailed for it is when you get an accident, and then they look to see if you're on the phone, and then they rattle you.
Oh, I live more often on Walcott Street, and I think they said it's a speed go. We're off of South Main Street on the west side.
Yeah.
Say you're at the old church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm waiting for the day when one of them kids get hit, because they don't. And Miss Bossy over there can tell you, they don't look. They walk. They don't. Oh, they'll stand there in the middle of the highway and not move. They don't look. And I say to the kids, I've been very blessed that people that live in my building are from Nepal, and I've actually taken day after day to finally listen, and I'll take. I say, nope, don't cross. There's a car coming. But when I'm not around, they don't care. They got a new game now, folks. It's called, how close can we go out in front of a car without getting hit?
So it's not a real game.
I'm sorry?
It's not a real game.
Yeah, it is.
Well, on the phone?
When they're on the phone, how close can we go to walk up in front of the car without looking?
Because I thought you were talking about like Pokemon Go or something.
Oh, no,
which is
no,
actually
no,
a
no.
game. Because
Oh,
you
no.
heard about people walking off cliffs.
Yeah. Oh no, this is a real game where they actually walk up in front of the cars and see how close they can get to them. And sooner or later, I'm waiting. One time I was out there and I'm looking, a little baby, couldn't have been more than 2.5 years old or 3 years old. The mother was, like you said, texting, and the lady stopped, got out of the car, went and took the baby across. The woman was going to have the lady arrested.
Yeah.
You gotta watch your kids, folks. Watch both ways. Do you see a lot of texting your way?
Oh yeah, it's the same everywhere.
Constant.
That's why you had the Bluetooth.
Right.
I'm actually glad I don't drive anymore.
You don't drive anymore?
No, I gave my license. Oh my God, 95? No, 2005, 2006. I lost my eyesight.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it was, I have a choice: either kill somebody.
Not much of a choice.
No, I even had a policeman come knock on my door and tell me I did a hit and run. I go, really? I said, when did that happen? He said, you're being wise. Luckily, I had a lawyer friend of mine on the phone. I said, well, sir, these are my glasses, and the dark glasses. I said, and I still have, and these are my white cane. And I said, so I don't know how I can drive. I said, I don't own a car. Oh, he was all upset. But there are miracles. I went. I had Reiki energy done. Then I went to Dr. Shaker, I believe his name, and within a half hour, I had my eyesight. And plus, I was always blind all my life, but I've seen about now better than I ever have.
Really?
I always believe anything that happens to us in life, whether we have the blindness or heart failure or whatever, it should make us to appreciate what we have even more. You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a firm believer in that. I want to thank you for coming on, young man.
Oh, thank
My
you for
pleasure,
having me. And so the show should be on probably about 4 weeks.
Okay, give me a call or put it on Facebook so I can announce it for you.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to come on again.
I will definitely come on again.
All right.
Good seeing you again.
You too. Bye bye.
Yeah, take care.
You see how fast you got up here to come over?
Nice meeting you, Lou.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, take care.
Watch it. She pushed you right out of the way there, buddy. When you leave, we'll have a picture of you and I and put on Facebook, okay? Scott, have some more water. So, Lou, sorry if we took our time away like that, but it's all good, right?
I forgive you.
Yeah. So now we need it. So, so you're keeping pretty busy at what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Life's been pretty busy. Life's been constantly changing.
Isn't that the good thing about life?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's Sorry.
Have you met Miss Troublemaker here?
I did introduce myself. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Norm's friend, Kate.
Hi,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Bossy and nuisance. This is her.
You know, Norm, you keep telling people that.
They're
but
gonna
I'm-
believe me.
No, because I'm this quiet person. You know,
I have sandals on. I don't have. But anyway, so in order to do what you're doing, did you have to hit rock bottom to rebuild yourself? And I don't mean through alcohol or anything like that. I mean,
Right.
just through like maybe depression
Well, I know
or whatever.
I did pursue that path for a
Yeah.
while when I was
Did you?
younger,
Yeah.
too. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how did you get motivated into doing what? Hey, I used a big word.
you did use another
Yeah.
big word. Lori's really going to be proud.
But how did you? So, because I know it's been a couple of months now, and a lot of people may not. How did you get motivated to doing what you're doing now?
Well, I started to see patterns in my life, in my relationships. After a while, it occurred to me that the common thread in all of those things were me. You know, at first when you have a bad relationship or a bad interaction with somebody, you think, well, why did that person do that to me? And then when you start to see it over and over and over, it occurred to me that, well, maybe I was either attracted to it or attracting this into my life. And
I know that's the thing. Even as a child, we do attract the negative energy, and as a child, we don't realize it. Okay, and then that's how then you get used to it. Like attracting her, no, I mean like you get used to it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then finally, you get to the point where you've had enough, and that's what happened with you.
Yeah.
Right? Have you written a book?
no, not yet.
What does not yet mean? I have to ask.
Well, I keep kind of getting the pull or feeling
Okay.
like I should start to put some of my experiences and thoughts down into some kind of written form.
Is it called procrastination?
Maybe.
Another big word.
'Cause that's what
Another
happened with
big
me.
word.
I actually had got it started. I got one page my friend Stewart done, and is reading it for me. And I was always so afraid to write this book, because if I write this book, then that means I'm going to die, which isn't true, you know what I'm saying? But that's always because I had a very good friend of mine who wrote a book, and he actually passed the day that book got done. So
So you
yeah.
inherited that story, his story.
Right, I
You
heard
made
that
it
story,
yours.
yeah, in my mind, and I know it's not going to happen. One thing I'm looking at you, too, is you own your own house?
I do.
Okay. You're not going to sell it, right?
Not planning on it, no.
Okay, I do see somebody offering you an okay money for it, but then again, the spirits want you in your house.
Good.
Okay, because it looks really nice, a little cluttered,
Can I ask the spirits to give me some more money to help
and they will.
pay for it?
You know, and absolutely,
Absolutely.
that's what they're there for. You know that, right? And when people think, "Oh, I can do this all myself," and I know a couple of people with you that instead of when they ask the spirit or they command the spirit to do something, guess what? It doesn't work that way. The spirits will work in their own way. You know?
Humility and gratitude goes a long way.
Right.
Exactly, and Norm makes a very good point. There are people who believe if you set an intention, it is about you, but it really, really isn't. It is about what you're going to give back,
Right.
and the conversations that you're going to have, and the gifts that will come your way that you'll share with someone else. And
Yeah, I believe that too. It's an energy. If you're putting an energy
Right,
out, that's what will come back.
Right,
to you.
yeah. And that's what people don't realize. Like, all these people who do all these things, and they do it, you know, with anger and frustration, that comes back at you.
Oh,
It certainly
This is
does.
why I had you on today, because I think we need to talk a lot about love and forgiveness.
I think it's, if we really want to, heal the world, and the world is changing fast in a lot of ways, and I think a lot of people are starting to wake up and understand that we really have the power to kind of create the world that we want to create individually and collectively. And to me, forgiveness that's one of the key things that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to be able to forgive and release stuff in our own personal lives, stuff in our family history, some of our, collective, what our countries have done to each other. All of it has to be let go. Because if we keep holding on to those stories, keep holding on to those things, we're going to stay in it.
You know, and that's absolutely true. I mean, everybody is, I hate Trump, or I love Obama, or I hate Obama, and love Trump. You know, damn it, I think I can. You know what? The spirit put Trump there, whether we like it or not. That's like they put Barack Obama there where he was. Okay, now all these people that had, I'm willing to bet that she'll agree with me, and you too, Miss Bossy, so you'll agree with me. All the people that are complaining about this and they're complaining, they don't even really know what the hell they're complaining about. You know, they really don't. It's easier to run the world in a negative energy than it is to work hard to bring it into a positive energy. This is why I don't listen to news. I don't watch Channel 9 news. I don't watch any news at all. I get the useless leader, the union leader, but I get it for free, so I don't have to pay for it.
See, I agree with that. I believe that we are all media blitzed because it's 24/7. If you are a nighthawk, you can continue to watch the news all night long. The issue is it's being repeated and then translated in a different way from one announcer to the other, and you take all that in. So you are media blitzed. If someone said, what was your opinion on X, you'd probably repeat what you heard on the news. You
the
wouldn't
script
go,
that you were given.
Right, exactly. Instead of sitting back and creating but trying to understand what it is you need to believe, and that comes from in here. That's where it starts. It's just Kate's view of the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
should?
believe that.
Yeah.
And I've personally, all the people I've met in my life, we go around our whole life afraid of all the bad people out
Right.
there. I haven't really met many really bad people in my life. Maybe I'm just one of the lucky ones, but I really think that most of us are good people and we're just afraid, because we've been
Exactly.
fed this story or the script about, we got to be afraid of this, afraid of that, or
Right.
this person or that person.
That's an interesting point, because I believe that
You believe?
I do.
Really?
I do.
Oh, wow.
I believe that I have never met a stranger. I believe that I have met someone, and somewhere in that conversation, there will be a click.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be
Like a recognition.
of,
Well, why didn't you say that when we were teaching?
because well, I probably, when I was with
Well, no, you're talking too much away.
I was. Admittedly, I was his first and probably.
We've got to start back teaching again. One of the, I have never met anybody I don't like.
True.
Okay, it doesn't mean I have to hang around with them. Doesn't mean I'm going to walk up and give them hugs and all.
Right.
Usually, it's the actions that I don't like. Even with people that beat me up, that's fine. I still like them. I don't like what they did, and I used to say to them, this was my favorite saying: "You beat me now, but don't turn your back on me." You know what I'm saying? Or if I want to fight, I'd say to them, how's it feel to be beaten by a fag? Because most men have that macho image, and they don't do. But I'm also a person. Okay, I'm a very forgiving. I think if we don't forgive what has happened to us, and it took me a long time. I owe my friend Bob Martell, who had a lot of patience one day with me. He took up my homeland where I grew up in town, and he took me up there, and I cried for hours to let go of all the anger and all the. So now that when I look at I can look and say, you know what? I can preach, or I can say, I forgive, and be honest and sincere about it. But it's people like you that help us to do this. Don't ever sell yourself short of what you're helping other people to do.
Well, I'm just sharing my thing. I think people resonate with it because I don't think that I'm different than the majority of the people out there. I've got my story, of things that happened to me, but everybody has their stories of things that have happened.
Like when I used to go to AA, and I used to hear all these meetings, and I couldn't handle it because this is what alcohol did to me. No, you did it to yourself, and this is the thing I cannot blame anybody. My thing used to be, Well, my dad, he was an alcoholic. I said, drinking. He didn't put that beer in my hand. He didn't put that shot of whiskey in there. He didn't put, whatever. And I had a lot to learn, like you just said, to let go of all the anger, like I'm sure you've had to do too. Without really, if you think, people have a lot of time on the misconception about spiritual people like yourself, myself, and even nuisance here, But we all have our own journeys.
Yeah. And I believe that we're not given, we never have a journey that we're not equipped to handle.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you're always, it's destiny. You're going to meet people that you are destined to meet,
Right.
without a doubt. And there's that kinship that comes from that, and that will never leave you. And you'll find that you'll meet that person again and have another story to tell. And I think that's important.
Okay.
Oh, which one? This one.
Hello.
Hi, Mary.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Feeling better?
Yeah, better than I had, but
Oh.
I got medicine and everything.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think so far about what we've been talking about, Mary?
Yeah, I saw the big guy. Oh my goodness, he looks like one of my brother-in-laws from a few years back. And I'm going, I had to look at him because I know, Funky's not around anymore. But oh my gosh, he looked like him. He's such a big guy, huh?
Yeah, he's really a very nice. He's a gentle teddy bear.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He's a little bear.
So, so what did you think about the talk about education?
Yeah, it's true. It depends really what you're into. Sometimes, you can get so much education you can be stupid.
Right.
And, and picking up garbage. Who needs it, to pick up garbage? They want you to have at least 1 year of college.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Just to pick up, garbage, you got to have a college degree.
Yeah.
You know?
And, I was in New York one time about 23 years ago, or longer maybe, and the garbage men were making more money than some of the lawyers. Garbage men in New York can make very good money, and I think they do it here too. But I wouldn't want to do what they do. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it,
Yeah, me neither.
but you know what? If it became a matter of survival, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I
used
did.
to
Let me tell you, I worked in, like I said, I worked in 2 different restaurants, and and worked on cars, and I've done everything through my life, so I know what it's like.
Yeah. So you're a mechanic too?
Yep. Yeah, years ago, we used to pull engine out. I did body work, you name it, I've done it.
No, not me. I'm too pretty.
Yeah, I've worked in 3 different garages.
I can tell what's wrong with a car. But once they lift that hood up, to me, all those wires look like spaghetti.
I know, the new ones, you don't want to even think, they're all electronic.
Yeah. I
And
can
you
tell.
don't even want to touch them. The older kind, you can fix them with a bobby pin.
Yeah.
Years ago,
Yeah.
they had certain things. Use a bobby
Oh
pin.
yeah, Bobby
Fix
Pin
your
was very
brakes with it.
famous for adjusting
You
the
didn't have a bobby pin,
carburetor.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah.
not mechanically inclined. I just
Oh,
hope
yeah.
when you put the
When
key
they had
in, it turns over.
the thing on it, and one of the gas floater there, the hook
Yeah.
in there. You take a pin curl, you can get it going good, or
Really?
you need
A
a license.
gasket, you take a cardboard.
Right.
You didn't have the money to buy one. You used a cardboard to make a gasket.
And it worked.
And
Today
it worked.
you're
You're right,
here,
it did.
Oh, I didn't know. We could do that as a project, Norm.
It won't work today.
Oh, okay.
Or like using a coat hanger to hail you and put your muffler up to hold on. So.
Oh, yeah. They're still done today.
Yeah, and you know what? Those were the days. You learned hard, you worked
Yeah.
hard, and actually we didn't appreciate it. And that's the sad part of
Yeah.
it. We really didn't,
Yeah.
Well, you sound a lot better than what I taught you yesterday, Mary.
Yeah, the medicine is working. I'm on, what they call, it's like Protodone, but it's not.
Ampicillin?
No,
Oh.
no. I can't even unless I look at it.
Yeah.
It's steroids.
Yeah. Well, Mary had
Okay.
eye surgery done on one eye, and she sees. You're still seeing a lot better than you ever have, huh?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And she got the other died. Boy, all these men better watch out if Mary catches her eye out on them, boy. She'll be, let me tell you, she'll be young and alive again like Troublemaker here, you know.
Norm, on a
I
nice,
went to get right on. I can really see that.
There you go.
I have a nice Irish Catholic girl.
You know what they say about Irish.
I know
Catholics,
that.
but I'm on TV. So. Okay, Mary, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm going to give you a call when I get home, Mary.
All righty, catch
right.
you guys later.
Yeah.
All right,
'Cause
feel
your voice is-
better.
Yeah, take care of that voice.
Thank you.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Need anything, give a call.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget, I'm sorry, Mary, you still there? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mary from Cruising with Mary. Okay. She's on, they tape it, she's on, I don't know the schedule, you have to check the Facebook. Cruising with Mary has been on the show. You know, you have been more, almost as much on my show, almost as much as Lori has.
I know.
I was counting it.
That's true. That is true.
Wow.
I know. Who knew all those years ago?
I told you.
I know you did.
But I didn't know I was going to have a show back then. You know, I often think, you know, I said to Scott, because Scott and I have been together 20 years, and then I say to my son, and that's another friend of mine that lives, who would have ever thought, and I'm sure you just said, who would have ever thought we would be doing the work that we're doing today? Would I change it? Absolutely not. And I think you're the same way.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to grow more. You know, I want to. It doesn't mean I want to have a bigger TV show. It doesn't mean I just want to let people know, you know what, we're real. Like with that blessing that we did at Hands Across America. That was so exciting.
It sounded like it was
It really was. So
exciting.
we're going to be doing more. I'll send you an invitation if you want to come.
Oh, we'd love to have you come.
Yeah. We're going to be doing, you know, because, you know, and the first time I did it, I went over to the park where I live. I did the house. Then I went over to the park, and the kids were interested in it, so I'm going to do it again. And they all said, wow, feel the energy. They could feel the energy of all that negative energy leaving. Because I don't believe there's a bad kid. I really don't. I believe the kids' action. Do I get impatient with them? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, I'm a screaming queen like there is no tomorrow, you know. Because I don't like hanging around with kids. But like with you, I honestly agree that see, you and I are a lot on the same path a lot about there's no such thing as a bad person, bad actions.
They're very rare.
Right. You know, and people, you know, like a murderer, but there had to be something that driven them to. The only time I have a hard time with people that injure other children.
Right.
Then I have a problem with that. You know, do I think they're bad? Absolutely. There might have been some good in them. Who knows? But you know. Oh, and by the way, everybody out there, be aware. I never thought this would ever happen to me. I think you know what I'm going to be talking about. There are people out there that know how to hack into your Facebook. And I want to thank you for making me aware of it. Okay, because you asked me if I had two lines, okay? And be aware, folks. I wouldn't... well, everything is fixed up. I'm not going to see what I did, except on my Facebook, I'm on top of a car with one of my other models there was showing off, you know. I made a lot of money with that picture, by the way. When I'm back at 50 years ago. Oh, my God, that's a long time ago. But be aware, folks, there are people out there that are very smart in doing the hacking world, so be aware. I've actually had somebody hack into my bank account one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you forgive them?
Yeah, I do. I actually do, and the person whom did it too, yeah. Do I want them to get caught and have, you know, justice and justice? But, you know, sooner or later, because I know that karma's going to get them.
Right.
Okay? I'm not, you know, the only time I would have a hard time forgetting, that might still, if I had lost my Facebook, then I would have been all upset, you know, but I reconstructed it over, so if it can happen to me, it can happen to you, and it can happen to you or anybody out there.
That's very true.
Just be aware. Usually they're from another country.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad in a way when you think about, because it's like any other. I did some time in high tech, you know. Facebook isn't something new. It isn't, you know. It isn't. What's happened is the technology is now at a point where they can actually generate that, and it's pretty easy to keep up.
Right.
Well, kids are getting into the government secrets. A 12-year-old kid, I believe, out of Georgia, tapped into the national security.
Recently?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we talk about education, So when you, Ozzy will tell you that you have a lady friend now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can't rush her. And if you do, you're going to lose her. Okay. I also will tell you I see a lot more success coming with your two boys. You're some pretty smart boys here.
We do.
But they're pretty lazy.
Very
at
lucky.
times. And were you sports-minded in high school?
Yeah. My grades were good enough to allow me to.
What did you play?
Football, track.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as he kept the ball. We had, in order to be in sports, I had to have a C or a B average. But I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
The only thing I was good at is tripping kids up when they were running down the basketball court. Or
Norm.
I didn't know you were supposed to put the bat down when you're running from first base and people would run, I was good at volleyball, though. I love that. I thought about starting a new volleyball team once I get rid of my belly, But so when you talk, do you see it from an audience?
Yeah, at times, yeah. So
Exciting, huh?
oh, I like it, and really the message always seems to resonate with with the group.
You said that a big word.
I know.
And I'm actually considering, or I'm starting the process of starting a forgiveness support group to see what becomes of that.
Oh, that's cool.
That
Because-
is excellent.
Yeah, that was something that's kind of, I don't know, been coming through me, flowing a little bit there, and I think I'm going to give it a try and see where that goes.
One thing I would probably encourage you through my spirit and your spirit to say, don't do it AA style, do it your style.
Right.
Too many people, too many programs out there follow, like Weight Watchers, or you have to make a mention because you overate a pumpkin pie or something like that, And,
Oh, this is about release, not about reminding
Exactly.
us of our, our wounds and our past story. We want to create a new story, and let go of the past.
Exactly. Have you considered the TED Talks?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oh, it's TED. When I lived in California, I was out there working in high tech. I used to go up to the University of California at Palo Alto for all the TED Talks. And I also used to use them with my team. We used to do it as part of our staff meeting or our woods meetings and things like that. So I'm a very big TED fan. There's a local car dealership in Concord, Grapponi. And Amanda Grapponi did a TED Talk on being a woman, not just a woman, but the owner of a car dealership. And she truly is spiritual, without a doubt. But it was one of the best TED Talks that I've ever listened to. She was absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, TED is just this great outlet. There's tons of people that have done them.
Yeah, and they're all from the heart.
They are. And most of the technical gurus at that time in the Valley were doing TED Talks. So I went up because I wanted to hear those messages from a business perspective. But it's also where I recruited employees for the company that I worked for. Because all of us, of course, because when you are in business, your team, you are a reflection of each other, and those happen to have been the best recruits that I ever had, that I ever worked with. And I was in high tech at that time, about 20 years. I was a child when I started, it's okay. Yeah. But truly, they're still playable on YouTube and whatever, and it's just, and I still now log in and again and hear some of the talks, because it does follow, I think, a spiritual path for all of us, and it's a lot of the times that's where I get my inspiration from. Right. So it's a great, and I think you would be dynamite as a TED Talk. They used to do them here in Manchester. I think they still do, down in the Mill Yard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go online to the TED Talks, they'll probably point you to the people up here that do them. There was one that's where Amanda did hers, was down in the Mill Yard.
I would love that.
Yeah, truly, that would truly be absolutely awesome for you. So I hope you I'm not trying to tell you what to do, no matter how he says it. I'm just a strategic thinker. I said another
Now
thing.
you're a boss.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for putting that back in my awareness.
My pleasure.
You know, and there's so much help out there for us.
Yeah.
You know, there really, you know, you hear, you know, granted, you know, I think the sad part is that people have lost their spirituality.
Yes and no.
Yes, I'm with yes and no on that.
Okay.
Because I mean, my
I'm not saying
personal
everybody, but I've seen
experience,
a lot of them.
so I'm in
Until
my
they hit
50s
rock
now.
bottom.
you know, and I find that way more people now are openly spiritual
Right, exactly.
than were 10, 20, 30 years ago.
See, I agree with that, but I also think that I go back to my saying that we are media blitzed. So that sometimes takes us off the path for a bit, because you have to come back to you, and live in your own skin and live in your own heart. And that's one of the lessons that, Norm was teaching when I first met him. And it was consistent with all the people that he's introduced me to down the path. So,
No, I
are
agree.
you mimicking me in my hands up?
I would never do that. Only in classrooms.
Yes, he used to do that to me all the
Yeah.
time.
But one of the things I do know, when I say that a lot of the people, because I think that when I say they lost their spirituality, because of what the religion has done to a lot of them. I think religion, and I'm not saying all, no offense to you, because
Well,
everybody has a right
I think
to
a
their
lot
own.
of the religions have
And they what,
driven
destroyed.
people to find their own spirituality.
Exactly.
Right now, because now they're getting desperate.
Right, because they
Okay.
want that connection.
Yeah, people are getting desperate now for that spirituality, and they don't find it through the Catholic Church. They don't find it through the benefits, any of them, And I think all your spiritual belief, it doesn't come from a church. It comes from here.
Yes, it does.
It comes from here, and it comes from listening to people talk about not condemning, talk about how you can find forgiveness, how you can find love, or maybe go to a spiritual healer, and work that way. I do a lot of spiritual counseling. Okay, I really do, but I don't heal them; they heal themselves.
Right.
And I give them programs to work with.
It's true.
And if they don't want to work with that, I can give you all the tools, just like you can.
Right, that's what I do. Is
You know?
I help people find their own way
Yeah.
to forgiveness, and
But
I
if they
give
choose- but
I
if
give
they
them
don't
some
do it.
tools like prayers or
Right.
whatever
Mantras or
resonates.
however
Yeah.
they call them, yeah.
And I talk about how there were like the word prayer was that I had a problem with that when I was younger. I had some baggage around that, even the word God, which I don't now, but from my upbringing, there was like I wasn't comfortable. I used other ways of describing my connection,
Right.
with the
Good
divine.
spirit, yeah.
Same
exactly.
way with me, I think because the thing is, we all have to learn our own way of touching. You don't have to go to a man to confession. Unless they got a Jersey sexy story they want to tell me, they don't listen. But no one has, we're not gods.
Mhm.
Right.
Even though they say we are made in the image of God, we're still not. I mean, I am, but other people, But, but I suppose we actually are in our own way.
Well, that's true. I was raised Irish Catholic. I had the nuns from the time, because I could read and write by the time I was 3.5, but my parents are older, and I think when your parents are older, you learn differently because they've lived a good portion of their life. My father was in his 40s. My mother was in her late 30s. But I was in school. I could read on my own by the time I was about 2.5 or 3. So they sent me to school, but they sent me to the nuns. So I grew up for the longest time. I used to have dreams about penguins and bats chasing me. And I always said if I ever married and had children, that doesn't happen, I would not do that with them. I still believe in that, the spiritual platform that I started on. I'm a nice Irish Catholic girl, but there's the other side of this. It's not a but, it's and with spirit in the path that I do today, because I'm a medium. So it is how you are raised. I think this is our Norm's line. Kate calling. Hello. Oh no. Let me see. Hello? 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 Al? Good. How are you, Al? It's me, Kate. I'm sorry. Norm just stepped away for a moment. He'll be right back. How's your day going?
Good. How's the show going?
Oh, it's going very well. We're having some great conversations here this afternoon. We wish you were here with us, Al.
Yeah, well, I had work today, so how's Norm doing? Is he getting a lot of calls?
No, not that. No, you're the. Well, maybe we had. Did we have one? Yeah, we had one call in. One call in. So, do you you're going to make our day here and tell us that the weather's going to be good for the rest of the weekend?
It looks like it's going to be a nice night tonight. We're going to be mostly clear in the 40s. Not as cold as we tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-70s, and a week cold front tomorrow night. Mostly sunny, a little bit cooler, 60s Friday. We're back in the 70s over the
That's
weekend.
perfect. Don't
The
move.
Monday of next week, and after next Monday, it looks like by next Tuesday we could get into a wet weather pattern with cooler temperatures. That's still almost about a week away. So through the weekend, it looks warm and dry right now. A little bit cooler Friday, and then a dry weather pattern will go into Monday of next week.
Oh, that's just fabulous because I'm headed out for the weekend and I'm going to be on the North Shore. Is it going to be nice and sunny and warm?
Should be, should warm up. There may be a sea breeze a little bit in the afternoons, but should be a beautiful weekend even at the coast. Yeah, lots of sunshine and should be nice. The next chance of any significant rain will be next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Hey, Al, I'm back.
Norm, you're back. We're going to bring weather right through Monday.
All right.
Weekend,
Yeah.
16th Friday, and then tomorrow will be in the mid-70s.
All right. Breakfast tomorrow. I mean, lunch
In
tomorrow.
the Celtic class, I felt so at that poor injury. That's
And
what
that
I
was-
thought. You never
yeah.
know. And yeah, I guess when you play sports, it can happen.
No, LeBron James did it purposely.
I was thinking this morning. I said, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, see, that's your psychic. So if you want to give me a call later, we'll talk about going out to lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll give you a call tonight. How are you doing? Good?
Oh, we're doing really well. When talking about love and forgiveness, and Buddy Stewart was here. Then I got Miss Nuisance Bossy here that you talked to here,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing really well. And then I believe that the Brewers are going to pull out of it, and I believe they're going to go all the way.
You still think the Celtics will do good with that injury line?
Oh yeah, they'll replace him in a hurry.
Yeah.
Money talks and people play. But the big.
I'll give you a call tonight. We'll talk to you tonight at home. Have a good show.
All righty, we'll talk to you later. Yeah. Bye now. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I think we might have got most of it.
Yeah.
You and your new phone.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? You were saying something when the phone rang.
Oh, what were we speaking about? I think we were talking about Catholicism and in its original form. But I think that spirituality is here. It doesn't depend on how you were raised. It's what you take away and more importantly, what you give back.
Right.
It's one thing to take. It's another thing to give back.
I'm a big believer in that. We're here, and one of the choices I think that we make as we evolve is, are we going to pursue that path of service?
Right.
Where we are giving back.
Right.
And we are recognizing that there's a connection. That by me looking at you and helping you, I'm really helping myself in the greater creation that we're all connected to. Or are we going to choose to take the path of service to self, where we're going to try to get everything to serve us?
Exactly.
And that's what society teaches us, or wants us to believe is the right path. But I think our hearts, I think that's one of the big awakenings that we're seeing around the world, is people are starting to really realize that they're not happy only trying to serve themselves. That there's that sense of fulfillment by helping someone else. And
I always think in terms of when I meet someone, what is the reflection that we are to each other, and why did we meet? Because there is a reason. There aren't any accidents.
I believe that too.
You know,
yeah.
some people say, well, you continue to learn the same lessons over and over again if you don't learn them well. I don't ascribe to that. I think that we continue to learn and grow. You may pick up another nuance from that, but what's ever here and the core that you came into this world with stays with you. And we always talk, or I shouldn't say we, I always talk about intentions, you know, like when you're healing, you never take anything for yourself. It is always an outbound activity, for lack of a better word. And I said another big word, just like
Yes,
you
you
did.
did.
But it's something that I personally believe in. You never take for yourself.
Right.
It is always that outbound activity, or that outbound belief. Why have we met? There's obviously a reason. What is it that we will learn from one another, and what will we pass on after that meet is over? And I think that's kind of how I look at things.
Right. No, I resonate with that.
Yeah, I thought maybe. Yeah,
He used another big word.
I know.
But one of the that's the whole thing is the biggest problem that we had with people, like you just said. I used to take everything for granted. Oh, I used to have this chip on my, people owe me. You know what? Nobody owes anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
All we owe is ourselves to make it better. We come in, when we come, like you're an old spirit, you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were pretty mean back in one of your times.
Was I?
Yeah, you know. And I wish there was a way I could prove what she was. Oh, that's something else. But I wish there were a way that I could prove what I'm talking about. You know, that we could show people how to do the different things and let go. When I tell you that you were, in one of your past lives, that you were really pretty mean, you were a person who enjoyed constantly created havoc with other people. Sometimes we bring that into our present life without even realizing it, like I did, you know, and like she did, or whatever. A lot of us do, you know, and because we haven't made amends, or we haven't fulfilled our mission in life. Okay, so then, and until we fulfill, like you're doing now, you're fulfilling what you might have done in your past life, was not a very good thing. So now you've had this choice, and you've had this chance to turn it around for the better.
Or show that I've learned something from
I was
the
just going to
experience.
say that from that journey, because I believe that we've all journeyed many, many times, and there aren't any accidents.
Yeah, no.
And you bring that back, and it may be that you have a discussion with someone who was on that same path, and in this life, and because you've walked the path, you can have that relationship and share what you learned, and then there's that two-way street that takes place in any conversation or any healing.
And then they can choose.
Exactly. It does. It comes down
Free
to
free will is
free
such an
will.
important.
It's very important.
How can we learn everything if we don't have the free will to make a decision that's a mistake or not? You know.
Right. Exactly. But the thing about that is that we learn from that, and then when you see someone that maybe headed down that same path, there's a reason that you've met them, and
maybe it's just to look at them with compassion because you're looking at yourself.
Exactly. You know, I have a thing that always comes to me was from someone that when I lived in California, and it resonates with me. What is this reflection that stands before me? It could be a what, it could be a who, but it's something that always stays in my mind, is what is that reflection that stands before me? Or who is that reflection that stands before me?
It's a game changer.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is.
Well, a lot of times when I used to do it now, and a lot of times even today, I may look and see somebody and say, "Ooh," I'm actually looking at a mirror of myself.
Yes.
My friend Wendy Stevens, I wish she'd come on, but she's shy, you know. She's been hurt by a lot of light workers. She really has.
Oh, that's sad. That's really sad.
She's been hurt by a lot of the so-called wonderful, light workers, and it breaks my heart, but it really happens that way. And she says to me one day, because I was going on home, this isn't good, this psychic isn't good, that psychic isn't good, this one here, troublemaker sitting here isn't good, or whatever, but whomever, And she looked at me, she said, Norman, what do you say about me? I'm going, whoa, because I never have. And I go, wow, do I really talk that way? So this is where a person like you coming in and teaching us how to forgive and stop comparing other readers. Then she said to me, look in the mirror.
And there's what
the
I call
reflection.
the three, or the formula, how do I forgive the other person?
Exactly.
Because you did something, so I'm gonna
Right.
forgive you.
Yeah.
But how do I ask you to forgive me
Yeah.
for my part in it? And how do we forgive ourselves?
Exactly.
That's the hard one. For being the recipient, for being vulnerable, for being weak, or whatever we feel, or maybe for being the one that was the active person that did something.
Right.
How do we forgive ourselves? That's hard, because there's a lot of shame attached to a lot of that.
Exactly.
It was, I can remember I was so embarrassed at my lifestyle and stuff like that. And my last name, I was so embarrassed for my son to have our last name and to be my son. Okay, to have my last name. I was so embarrassed with my actions that I don't know how to describe it. I can't really describe it, but it was just to think he had to go through with my bad behavior and me being gay, and that he had to put up with it. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed
Mm-hmm.
that he had to go through it. And then one day, I went and I started taking a reflection of who I am. And it took me to move out of Manchester to realize who I am. And every day, don't we learn every day?
We sure do.
If we say that we're perfect like this lady here is, but then we get it, I love picking on you.
I know.
you
That's
know.
why why you and I have reconnected.
And but
One of
when
them.
we start thinking that we're perfect, we haven't even listened to what we've been taught.
Right.
That is such a
And-
powerful statement.
And I hate it. And we were actually talking about this.
We were.
One thing I hate about this, if you're teaching a class, right, and you have to say, oh, I know it. Nothing infuriates me, and I want to take the head and say, you're not listening, smack them in the head. If you know it, then why are you here?
Right.
And I'm sure you've gone through that, right?
Oh yeah.
And and that's the whole thing is that if you know it all, then don't waste your time and don't waste mine. I'm too pretty to worry about that. Plastic surgery does wonders.
That might be a really good, now that we've had, you and I started chatting, we chat all the time. I chat his ear off, and I know that. I know he's going in his mind, yeah.
I shut my hearing aid off.
Yeah, exactly.
Timmy told me to.
Right, exactly. Hi, Timmy, it's Mommy. And that might be a good exercise for us to build into the classes that we're doing. The I know it as part of the first up.
Curriculum, yeah. When we get going to I'll be sending you a message to come in and teach. A class. It's a 3-hour class or a 2-hour class. And obviously, you're going to get paid for it, but to teach them on how to learn how to really love themselves. I'll probably win that early. Right now, we're still working on the curriculum.
Sure.
I used a big word.
I can
You
do that.
did.
Yes, I did. And learning how to do that, because there are many phases in our lives that we can all. Everybody can teach something to somebody.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the one thing that I do know about when you do spiritual readings, you don't have a degree in forgiveness, right? I mean, you didn't go to college for it.
I didn't invent it.
You didn't invent it.
Better yet, we
Noth-
did not invent it.
Nothing
yeah,
I
that's true.
say is original to me,
And it's all through the spirit.
except
right?
for my own experiences,
Yeah. And then instead of and through the spiritual world, the spirit has helped you to, do it that way. Okay, and I think that's good. Because I had too many people go online, and I'm not knocking online teaching. Well, a little bit here and a little bit there. But how could, unless you have the actual person in front of you or the actual teacher, what are you really going to learn?
Yeah, I mean, the online, there's there's a lot of great stuff there.
Oh, I'm not.
But we're human too, and that connection is meaningful. And that's why, I don't know if I told you, I've began a 2-year chaplaincy, interfaith chaplaincy program.
Really?
To become an interfaith minister. And I see that as a way for me to learn even more skills, of how to relate to people of all faiths and backgrounds, and maybe, whether it's the forgiveness message or whatever, but it's the human, to get back to your point, it's that what drew me to it was based on all human interaction, in person. How do you deal with people with real things going on in their life and help them? How do you be with them, and hold their hand through it and help them do it, but know they're not alone?
Right.
Exactly.
And that's a whole thing. Like when we had a lady on the show, and she'd taken a course with another lady, great teacher, and she'd been doing it, and this other lady who was a student, and, I've been reading for 8 months. I go, oh, okay. And I'm teaching now. I go, wow, okay. How much experience have you had in all this? But I'm not going to judge you. It's not up to me. Okay. And I like, or these people that go to get their masters, I call weekend warriors.
Right.
Because most people that do Reiki energy, they go 1 and 2, and usually it takes about a year to get your masters. Are you a Reiki master?
Not a master, but I just did take a class on Holy Fire Reiki.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's really
It's a new
intense.
energy. Apparently.
It is? Okay. I have to. Okay.
When I do what I call spiritual Reiki, okay, on that vacuuming upstairs,
Yep.
And when I do the Reiki energy, I always work with someone who has a brain. Well, sorry about that, but you do have one.
You're killing me.
But I always work on the cranium, and I go through the rest of the body, and I go down through and stuff like that. I think everybody can be a Reiki person if they want to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody is a psychic. Although my friend Linda, she and I have an understanding. I don't do Reiki, not the way she teaches, and she doesn't do the Reiki the way so, because, or I was talking with one lady, she was on the show, and I said, and she was telling me how when she does a reading on someone, like if she was saying you're doing a reading or doing, well, wait a minute, I got to go get the book and look it up and see what that, I'm not going to pay for that. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to pay for somebody doing a reading? She would, because
No.
she's gullible. No.
You don't strike me as gullible.
No.
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 Actually, I love her to pieces, one of the things that I understand, too, with people is, I'm not saying that because, all people, once you learn, like, what you're doing and what you're teaching, you don't expect it to go verbatim of what you're teaching someone.
No,
It's just a
everybody's
tool.
got to internalize it and make it their own.
Exactly.
That's the key. You got to make.
Yep.
You got to make love, forgiveness, whatever. You got to make it your own thing. You got to bring it into your heart and let it shine the way it's going to shine.
When I first got into nursing and counseling, I went verbatim by the books. I used a big word, too.
You did.
By the book, everything. Oh, the book said do this, the book said that. I forgot. What I'm saying, I say, okay, those are only the tools to work with. Like, okay.
I got an incoming call.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah?
I got the call.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Have you noticed that when you teach something, you learn it at a deeper level than you thought?
Absolutely.
That's an interesting thing. As I've been sharing my journey, it's gotten me to go even deeper, on my own journey
Right.
by sharing, because I get to see how people relate to certain thing that I say or what makes sense. Or sometimes people share things to me and I was like, wow, like that hadn't even occurred to me, like, wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Like when I'm doing a reading on someone, and all of a sudden they'll see this reflection back at me as I'm reading them, like you just said. wow, have I been this way too? Because a lot of the times that when I'm doing readings or teaching, okay? There you go. Push it down. Hello, welcome to Norman, friends. Hello?
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I just have one question for you.
sure.
I'd like to know what happened to my daughter.
What do you mean what happened to your daughter? She lost?
No, she's in a coma.
Oh, there's something about, she said it induced, did they induce it, or there's something about her medication that created a problem?
No.
No?
She hit her head and there was 2 strokes.
Okay, well, like I said, but there's something, I don't know what they're doing, I'm not even going to try, but there's something with a slight brain damage and create, but she's going to end up being okay.
Yes.
Okay, and how long has she been in there?
38 days.
Okay, I will believe for you and that she's going to come out. She may not, she will have to learn how to do everything over. I'm not sure what happened to her. To be honest with you, I'm not going to put out something that I don't know. But I will tell you this: I believe that she's going to end up being okay.
Yeah, the whole circumstance was really.
Were there drugs
hard to,
around? Okay,
swallow.
yeah. Was there drugs around her?
No.
No. Okay. I'm looking at something. Oh, okay. There's something about that she fell, and there's something to do with a brain aneurysm.
Correct.
Okay, and they need. Okay, there's something about the brain that should be taken like it was a correct, like a broken vein in the brain aneurysm, and they're gonna work it out. But I also, when she was falling, it was like she got up too quickly and fell, and I'm looking that she either hit her head against the wall or on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm seeing that she's not that old, is she?
No.
Okay, I do believe that it may take a little while longer, but I'm going to tell you, I do believe that she's going to slowly get better.
Thank you.
Okay, don't give up on her. Do me a favor and keep me posted on how she's doing. Okay?
Yes. We'll get ready to put her in a long-term care facility.
Okay.
She's finally getting out of the ICU today.
Right.
After 38 days.
Yeah.
So,
right.
her coma hasn't came out of it.
Well, when I for some reason I see the changing on the area and the area where she's going to, I actually see her. She's going to come out very slowly. It may take another 20 days to 3 months, but I will tell you, she's going to come out. I really believe that with my whole heart.
And may I say
Thank you.
may I say something?
Yes, this is the dad.
Okay. May I say that and I know that Norm's thinking the same thing or feeling it. Keep holding her hand. She's searching for something to hold on to. So keep holding like her left hand.
Right, I'll go with the left hand.
Left hand. And the other thing is, does she it's up here.
Now what's her favorite music?
We've been playing songs of her favorite music.
Okay, keep.
When we're in there, they let us.
Yeah, continually do this. Okay. Did she have a pet?
What? I don't hear you.
Okay. Did she have a dog or a cat that was her favorite pet?
Yes.
I would, if they will allow you to, I would encourage you to take her pet with her and stay with her for a little while every day, or how often you're going to go.
Yeah, who was the foul play? He doesn't know.
Can we ask you about the foul play? Because we think it was.
Can you do me? I'm going to give you my home number, okay?
Okay.
Okay, then we'll talk more
I'm
on that.
related to my colors. You know my family.
Okay.
I met you before.
Okay. Give me a call at 641-3187. We'll talk more. Okay? 641.
641?
Yep. 3187.
3187. Okay.
And I will honestly give you, I don't want to say a whole lot on the air, okay? But I will send Lessard, please give you a call after 8 o'clock tonight, all right?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All righty. You sound familiar, but give me a call later.
You've read me before. Thank you.
All righty.
Did a great job.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah,
Call
you too.
very
Bye-bye.
much.
Yeah. When I'm seeing, I can't see. I don't want to leave myself open for a lawsuit either. You know, so I can't say it on the air because you got to be very careful. Do I believe that she's going to get better? I think you do too. You know, and you know, let's send her in spirit of all the angels. Just send to this woman who is in a coma right now. Let's send the energy of healing that she will. That she will heal, even though in your divinity and time. And I would also encourage that they send her pet to her and let her pet lay on her bed beside her and just bring her the joy and allow the music. Get rid of all the people that were hanging around with her, and that she can heal. That she can heal. We ask it in the name of the Spirit. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Okay. And one of the things I do want to do is. My son. You've been on Facebook when they're talking about my son, right?
Oh, see, I haven't.
That he beat cancer.
I did read.
Yeah,
Yes.
he beat cancer. So I'm excited. And it's medication. That's why I have a problem with people. I'm supposed to take blood pressure pills. I refuse to. I'm supposed to take diabetic pills. I refuse to. I'm not going to be addicted. I'm too pretty to be ruined. But no, we can heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
My son says it sounds a lot better since he got off the medication. You know, and I think that's important. Plus, he's got a whole new job, a new career. I also will tell you, you said you paint houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I told you I see a mansion that you're going to be painting that has a lot of haunted spirits in it, what would you say?
That doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Do I think the word haunting? I don't even like that word, to be honest with you. Do I think spirits are active? Absolutely. Haunting is a way to sell. Like ghosts are a way to sell.
It's like selling a book or writing.
Like Gasper. Oh, by the way, folks, I'm going to be on next Tuesday with Mary, and we're going to be doing the taping at 1 o'clock. And I'm going to dress up in a Halloween thing. I thought I was going to dress in drag, but instead I'll surprise everybody what I look like. I wore the same costume. I'm going to dress up like with a black eyebrow, the evil minister or whatever, But so tune in whatever day. Mary will tell you what day that they can see it. I also will tell you one thing I'm looking at you is 3 people are going to test your beliefs like there is no tomorrow. You've already been tested. And one
Only
thing about
3?
I'm sorry?
Only 3?
It must be a slow day.
But these are really going to, in other words, these are 3 people who are, I know, and all this other stuff like we'll need. But these 3 people are going to drive you up a wall because they're going to be repetitive of everything they say.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, you're going to win them over.
That's good.
That's all good.
Oh, wow. Well, time go by fast. We got 5 more minutes.
Wow.
So, hope you'll come back on again. I'm sorry it wasn't longer with you, but that was okay. The spirit leads us.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was pretty interesting what Buddy had to say. And
I thought it was really interesting that he's out there working where I grew up.
Exactly.
And it's a remote area.
Is it?
Oh, Orange is a very pretty town.
Yeah.
There's really a town called Orange?
There is. It's out in Western Mass.
They have orange houses and orange trees and orange pavement.
But they have great restaurants. They do.
You know all our restaurants.
It's a beautiful area.
It's very very beautiful. Yeah, I believe that food is meant to be enjoyed, and I love to eat. It doesn't matter what it is.
She don't cook though.
I hate to cook. I believe my kitchen should be a shoe closet. It's just easier for all of us that way.
Well, Timmy wants 2 hot dogs and a piece of beef.
All right, then Timmy shall have that.
He wants his ice cream.
That too.
He says he doesn't pay attention to Chai washing his face. He's used to it.
He's used to it by now.
She has a cat that washes the dog's face every time he eats. I also will tell you that this relationship that you're in is going to grow for the better. And once again, I have to tell you, just go slow. Because you're very lonely at times. Let's be honest. When we get home, all the curtains are closed. no more phone calls, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It gets lonely.
Sure.
You know, if I didn't have my partner with me, it would be very lonely, you know. And if I didn't have someone like Kate to yell at, you know, that would, you know
He
what
does,
I'm saying?
you know, now and again. No, actually, we go back so far. He is my first spiritual teacher. One of the things about the lady in it, she truly is a lady, without a doubt, is that I don't like to make predictions, but this is meant to be. It is meant to be.
So I can't even mess it up.
Yeah. But you would be the one.
Right. So it's
You gotta trust her.
right. It's meant to be. You will find the more that you engage her in what you're doing, and I know it feels like you do, but you will be amazed at the level of understanding that she has. This will be peer to peer, along with a man and a woman in a relationship. And that's my guidance.
Folks, it was a
Sorry.
pleasure having, no, that's fine. That was a pleasure having my friend Buddy Stewart, who was the one that encouraged me to start doing my TV show. And it was encouraging. I loved having him on. I think it was pretty interesting. And I love the idea of you being on. I hope you'll come back on again. And
Absolutely.
the whole thing. Well, I really want to promote your forgiveness and stuff, boy, because that's a great talent, very rare. And even you. Thank you for coming on and sharing. But Lori, I miss you. No one can take your place, and I don't mean that in a bad
I know
way,
that.
okay? But Lori, get well, come back on. And everybody out there, we'll see you all next week. Because remember, every day you are a winner. And you're a winner?
I'm a winner.
We are a winner. We are winners.
Much love, folks.
Much love.